This technique we call the scissor sweep. It's usually, or quite often, it's the first sweep that people that train in BJJ are introduced to, because it's fairly simple to do, and because of the nature of the way that my legs are moving, like one leg is acting like a round kick, most people can kind of relate to it. And the way we're going to do it, to start with, before we show you some evolutions of it, some ways it's evolved, is just to start with a closed guard with a super deep grip in the collar. This is unacceptable. We really need to get deep in the collar, because what that's about is higher leverage on his spine. All right, the lower I am down here, I just can't pull him down. So I need to grab that rope and climb my hand up there and get it right in there. Then we take a grip on the sleeve just below his elbow so he can't post out. Okay, the next thing I need to do now is make loads of distance. My feet go on the ground, all of my weight on the left shoulder, hip goes way out, sliding my knee through. So see, my knee is like right across his chest, just like that, like a round kick. I don't want to be jammed up, and I wouldn't want to be jammed up with a round kick. So similarly, I want to make sure that I've got a fairly open angle. Ideally, 15 to 20 degrees off straight would be perfect. So deep in the collar, hand on the sleeve, feet on the ground, hip away, knee through, line my body up. And in that lining up process, I'm already pulling him off his base, pulling him well forward. So there's not much weight back there for me to sweep. Now my left leg sweeps on the ground, my right leg does the round kick, and we come onto the mount, still with our grips in place, so we can set up chokes or set up arm bars. The other way to practice it, or the other opportunity to do it, is when, let's move this way a little bit, is when my partner stands up on his left leg to initiate a guard pass. We can undo our legs, and instead of putting my feet on the ground, I've got all of my weight on David's leg, taking my whole body off the ground to reduce the friction so that I can move my hip out. My hip comes out. I then do the second thing, which is line myself back up, pull him forward, but I look at all the distance I've got. Look how far I've moved away from him, and then it's a simple matter to sweep him over. The big problem that everyone faces when they do their first 50 or 100 basic sweeps is they try to do it as if there's a wall built behind their head and they're all jammed in here and they wonder why it can't work. So another way to do it, which is really effective, especially for people who are much smaller than their partner or their opponent, is to actually start like this, climb that rope, get a good grip, put my foot in the hip and move away as far as I can. So now I've really got distance. And instead of this foot being across here, we just put the shin up under the armpit. Once that's there, then this foot drops onto the ground in front of the knee, and I've got so much good leverage here against the top part of his body while I kick the bottom leg and go over onto the mount. That's extremely effective as a sparring move, but also against people who are just half the size of their opponent. So once again, starting at the same grips, feet in the hip, step away, get the shin under the armpit. See, that's rotating David already. He can't sprawl on my leg, not with this joint in there. And then the other foot comes back in front of his knee, kick it out, and take him over. That's called the basic sweep or the scissor sweep. And it's a great sweep just to learn mechanics. But keep in mind, the number one thing with that sweep is getting that distance.
And I have a number of things to add on that, to what John just said. The reason that we teach this as the first sweep, which of course means a reversal of position, is because it is such an embodiment of so many kind of core principles of sweeping. If you think about it, when someone is in your guard, that's really an upside down mount. So if you can maneuver a way to turn that situation over, person in your guard, you're now on the mount. So once you start to think that way, you can see a little bit of what the guard has to offer. John mentions that what we're manipulating is a lever here, and we want to be sure that you understand. You could think of the body as a stick figure, where you've got this line here that can be twisted and rotated by its ends. You've got the spine that can be twisted and rotated, and you've got the hips. So what John is working on here to make the person fall is the spine lever. That's why he's saying get the kicking leg up really high. And often you see people really trying to do like a scissors where their feet are just passing. That's not giving you the distance you need, like you're really going to turn a lever at the ends. So you start to think of the spine as a lever, you think of the shoulders as a lever, the sweep starts to get you thinking about where do you want to place these things. Because if you can get this kind of detail and understand how to manipulate a body, it's really, really going to help you.